Hello, brothers and sisters. Today I want to show you how in the James Bond films, as well as in some other films and clips, those upcoming apocalyptic events that I have been warning you about for a long time are encrypted. Let's start. Here is a scene from the Bond movie. We see the performance on the stage, as well as the symbol of the all-seeing eye on the floor. Next, you see a giant all-seeing eye that gradually transforms into a solar eclipse. Pay attention to the white spot next to the eclipse. It's not just an accident or an glint of light. This is the planet Venus, which at the time of the solar eclipse in the constellation of Virgo on October 25, 2022 will be as close as possible to the eclipse for our observation point. Look, the same picture from the clip of Britney Spears. The camera does not accidentally focuses on these car headlights for a few seconds. The same information is encrypted in the Hierophant logo. Here is another frame from Bond. It's the body of a woman in oil. Notice how the oil glazed off her and formed the symbol of the eclipse. Moreover, some object was specially placed next to it, perhaps a telephone. Look, it's all the same. This is an encrypted image of the solar eclipse of October 25, 2022. For those who have doubts, I will give another example from the music video. So, what should happen next to this eclipse? Those who watched my videos know that on the 1st or 2nd of November, depending on the time zone, a volcano in Hawaii should explode. The explosion will be so powerful that Hawaii will be completely destroyed and a tsunami will hit California. That is why we are shown a fiery explosion in the same moment, and during the explosion they insert a frame depicting an eclipse. Here is the next James Bond movie. This building plays a very important role in it. Look at it. It stands on the banks of the river and resembles a volcanic island in the middle of the ocean. Here is another scene from the movie. This is the boss of the Bond. She is a woman, Virgo. Behind her is a symbol of the eclipse. So that there is no doubt that this is a reference to an eclipse in the constellation Virgo, and we are again shown this eclipse in encrypted form. Do you doubt? Okay, here is an example of the same encryption from Alicia Keys' music videos. Those who have been watching me for a long time have already seen several of my videos which are completely devoted to how the symbol of the eclipse in the constellation Virgo is encrypted in music videos, films and even monuments. Further, in the film, the boss of the Bond is dressed on her head like a crown by the Secret Service building. In the artistic sense of this scene, the villain makes fun of her by comparing her to the British Queen. But in accordance with the secret meaning of this scene, we see the island of Hawaii during a solar eclipse in Virgo. Further, the creator of this puzzle clearly specifies the date of the upcoming explosion of Hawaii and inserts such a frame. Of course I did the caption. This is the Day of the Dead, which will be held in Mexico on the 1st and 2nd of November. And as Hawaii explodes due to a volcanic eruption, we see the flames in the next frame and other such moments. I looked at this riddle for a long time, and I could not find a reference specifically to Hawaii. It had to be either a flower or something else, but it wasn't. The entire puzzle was depicted against the backdrop of the British flag. It spoiled everything. I was already desperate, but then it dawned on me. Like a diamond bullet went through my head. Here is the flag of Hawaii. Whoever came up with this riddle is a genius. Brothers and sisters, you see, everything fits together. Everything I have shown you before is confirmed. It was possible to establish the exact date of the beginning of the apocalypse. If any of you still have doubts after that, I will dispel them now. Immediately after the fire, we are shown this frame. Yes, this is the last chance for all of us to think about our sins, repent and turn to God so that after death our souls will be saved by Him, so that we return to our Father and He accepts us. Further in the film, a few seconds later, Hawaii is shown exploding. Boom! It's a brain explosion. Everything is shown in advance, and already in the next episode, Above the Bond, we are shown the final destruction and immersion in the ocean of Hawaii due to explosion. Moreover, before the very last explosion, the camera specifically focuses on an empty chair for a few seconds. And what is a chair in their riddles? I have already shown you. And just before the explosion, the camera focuses on the electronic counter where the encryption end appears. This is truly the end, brothers and sisters, the final and irrevocable end of the world and the world order in which we exist. I don't know who can survive and what this new world will be like, but I already know exactly what it will be. Apocalypse warnings have been shown to us for a long time and everywhere. Movies, games, music videos and so on. I have no idea why the Lord let me see all this. I'm an ordinary person who is no better than you, but in some ways worse. But now these messages are massively inserted, and it seems that only the lazy will not notice this. Here is the new Norseman movie. Again, contrary to the plot, the camera focuses on the girl with the ring, and a second later we are shown the explosion of the volcano. In the credits for the film, I noticed that the soundtrack for the film was recorded at this studio, and this is a direct reference to this sign, which directly speaks of who placed the mystery in this film. Here I want to give you an example of a YouTube user who, after watching my videos, independently found a warning in the movie Sonic 2, which he wrote to me about. I checked, and yes, it is. According to the plot of the film, this scene takes place in Hawaii. We see the symbol of an annular eclipse, as well as how an avalanche falls on the island through this eclipse. What is an avalanche? Avalanche is a snow. Snow is a water. Thus, a tsunami hits the island. If the main Hawaiian island is destroyed by a volcano explosion, then the rest islands will simply be washed away by a tsunami that will also hit California. Moreover, they used the same tsunami camouflage method as in the other film. I already showed you this. Next, another YouTube user reminded me in his comment about the Britney Spears video. I haven't seen it for 10 years. I looked again, and now, since I have new knowledge, I found the following. Look here. Virgo sits on an eclipse and her white dress covers it. Here is the same thing in Britney's video. So that there is no doubt that we are talking about a solar eclipse in Virgo. We are shown her next to such a black round lamp or camera. Britney's dress is huge. It starts to grow and move. It begins to resemble a volcano, the pressure inside of which is increasing. Then from Britney's fingers a multicolored liquid begins to splatter in all directions. We are shown a volcanic eruption. Instead of fiery lava, they use paint. Exactly the same encryption method was used in Katy Perry's video. Only instead of paint, they used multicolored flowers. Look, don't you see? Moreover, at the time of the eclipse, Virgo will be pregnant with Mercury, which I have already shown you. And here the same event is shown in Britney's video. I also showed you the same encryption technique with Beyonce. Move on. Here is a frame from the trailer for the movie The Hand of God. Just look at the subtitles. You are openly told that we are talking about the future, that this is really going to happen. I repeat, this is the future for us, but for those who composed these riddles messages, this is the past. It has already happened, and they know exactly what happened, and they show it. Here is a scene in which we see a chandelier with many burning candles reflected on the floor as in a mirror. Of course, the floor is a water, the ocean, and the chandelier is a volcanic island at the moment of eruption. So that there is no doubt about this interpretation, after a few seconds we are shown a real volcano that begins to erupt. Those who watched my videos know that I believe that after the explosion of Hawaii and the tsunami, uh, meteorites will begin to fall on the Earth. One of the largest will fall into the Atlantic Ocean, which will cause a tsunami that will destroy at least New York. This meteorite is also shown to us in Britney's video. Note that the full moon is shown. This should happen November 8 or 9, 2022, when there will be a Beaver full moon and a lunar eclipse. This moment is shown to us in the trailer for the film Hand of God. We see how from the depths of space, from the epicenter of the explosion of comet Leonard due to its collision with an asteroid in the cluster of Jupiter's Trojan asteroids, a deadly meteorite flies to our Earth, relatively speaking, right in our face. Look, it's the same as shown in iPad God. Together again. And the meteorite falls into the ocean, causing a tsunami. I already showed you. Here is a frame from the latest Batman movie. We see the city of Gotham. Everyone knows that this is a fictional city from the comics, which was created under the influence of New York and Chicago. I don't know if it's true or not, but I even came across information that the name Gotham itself is a nickname for New York City. For example, Christopher Nolan's Gotham City was set deliberately in New Jersey to honor the comics. That is, it is clear that Gotham originally meant a city on the East Coast in the New York area. And look at the frame from the movie. The city is flooded. Moreover, at this moment, Batman himself says that this is Wednesday, November 6th. But we know that in their riddles the 6 is the same 9 and vice versa. It turns out 11-9 or 9-11 in European style. So let's look at the calendar. November the 9th, what day of the week is this? Wednesday, just like Batman said. Everything came together, just like I told you before. On Wednesday, November 9th, 2022, with a full moon and a lunar eclipse, New York will be already flooded. So we are shown flooded city with a symbol of a solar eclipse, which will take place 2 weeks before. Also note that just 2 days later, on November 11th, there will be Veterans Day, and It's no coincidence. That's why a year before this, on November 11th, 2021, such a Google Doodle comes out. I no longer know what other evidence people need to see all these obvious things. It begins to seem to me that the meaning of all these warnings after their disclosure should reach only a limited circle of people. Apparently, this is the will of the Most High. There are only 5 months left, brothers and sisters. God bless you all.